Well, hi, and welcome to my shop. Thanks so much for joining me here. I'm going to be starting on this very heavy, large radio here. So I haven't had a look at it at all, other than just to see it, just like that. But before I get going on here, just a comment about my last project. I just finished an 8-day vacation, so I haven't produced any videos for 8 days. The last video I produced was towards the end of some work on a tube tester, and I know some of you are subscribed and you're watching videos as I post them, so your expectation would have been a couple more videos on that tube tester, and they will come, but I am still waiting for a part. The part has not arrived. I cannot finish off that tube tester, so in the meantime I'm switching over to this radio. So we'll go through this radio. I'm looking forward to doing this. Anyway, it's really radios that I want to be working on, not so much the equipment that I have. So, okay, let's get going on this guy. Let's see. So, as the owner told me, the cord looks extremely new. So this is a replacement cord, and it's been replaced with a, I don't think this is old at all, with the style of cord that matches this kind of radio. Got a big knot tied in it here. It's not really the best thing to do, but it is what it is. Now, got this thing up here. It says phono radio. So that's a switch. You see a shielded cable soldered to the chassis here, going to the phono inputs. So that's what this is, and there's the phono. To plug in your phonograph. This is obviously an antenna wire. Oh, I see something really interesting already, but let's just leave it. But it's that tube. Let me take a closer look at that tube. There's something going on there. So if we look at the general condition of this radio, this is so typical. Now I've come to be aware right away of these trim areas on the radio, which originally I think were just painted all along here. These look particularly bad. And the top doesn't look great either, but what I've learned is a little bit of paint on these, paint these solid, and a huge improvement in the look of the radio. Same thing with this front part here, as opposed to the rest of it, which has kind of a standard wood finish of some sort on it. So now in terms of real damage, let's take a look at the top here. Not really. This is just, you know, after decades and decades of wear, you know, even that's not all that serious of a scratch. So as much as it looks a little beat up, it's actually in very, very good shape and easy to bring back. But these side panels, these will look beautiful. So Mr. B, I don't normally work on cabinets, but I'm going to certainly refresh yours up, no doubt about it. Corners look pretty good on here, pretty solid. Yeah, it's a very solid cabinet. Some of the veneer is lifting here. So this is a serious problem actually, because it is so easy to catch this and snap off a slice. So this has to be fixed. This is quite urgent actually, because the radio otherwise doesn't have that kind of damage anywhere. So this would be the first place where you'd actually have a serious cabinet failure. So we're going to glue that back. Probably do that practically right away. Okay, so I see the cabinet has a base plate, and I see screws have been removed from it and not set back in all the way. Exactly why that is, I don't know. It might be someone has loosened these screws in hopes of lifting the chassis out, or something like that has happened. I don't know. I don't know why these are backed out a little bit. Just making observations. Oh yeah, I was going to talk about this tube here. I think we better take that tube right out of there. And what's caught my attention is its size and its shape and the number on it. I can see the number on it. Let's just get under there a little bit. 4-pin tube. How old is this radio? RCA Victor, made in Canada, Montreal. Doesn't say, of course, right on it. Somewhere we'll find out eventually. But the thing is, this is a number 80. In my experience with number 80s, I've never seen one that looks like this. The number 80s I've seen have been large glass tubes. So this one may be particularly valuable. In fact, I'm not even going to put it back in the radio right now. I'll leave it over here, do a little research and find out about that tube. Because that might be something that's quite scarce. And if that's scarce in here, all the rest of them are probably fairly scarce too. Is there a tube chart? I have not availed myself of the schematic yet. So all the other tubes are in cans, all in shielding cans. They all have top caps. So I think that suggests late 30s, I think, late 1930s. Okay, so the speaker has multiple wires coming to it. They're very, very flexible. These are really in great shape. There's a huge field coil here, big power transformer over here, and this looks like this is probably the output transformer mounted up here, not on the radio. It's two capacitor sections gang together, two tuning capacitor sections. Generally pretty darn clean, not a lot of dust buildup. Mr. B, who owns this radio, is the kind of guy who would take care of these things. So, although he just purchased this, and he says it's working, but I'm hesitant to plug it in and find out and put this tube to work. Let's do a little research on this tube right now. Okay, so we're looking at Radio Museum. I'm a member of Radio Museum. We're looking at their page on the number 80 tube, and oh my gosh, I never actually realized how many other tubes have the same tube with all these numbers. Oh my gosh, I don't recognize really any of these in here. These are all weird numbers to me. Go down a little further. The story is told better here down on other bases. And here you see the 5Y3. Well, my understanding is the 5Y3 is a grown up number 80. It's just a newer version of the number 80, but the basing is done differently. Because we're getting rid of the 4-pin style and moving to the octal style, and that's what this is. So I think this is basically the number 80 in a different package. It may not be 100% correct. Similar tubes, other shape, other base. Normal. Yeah, so I think these are really the same tube. And these are rectifier tubes. I mean, how much can there be to it? Predecessor tubes, there's that number 80 in there. Successor tubes, here we are, 5W4. These might be bases that are different again or something, I don't know. But anyway, full wave rectifier. VG history, here we are. Let's check out the history here. 1925, two small full wave rectifiers came on the market, the Westinghouse UV196 and the UX213. 213 is the first full wave rectifier offered by RCA. When was that? 1925. Okay, just to put this in perspective. Commercial broadcasting started very weakly in 1920 in the States. By 1922 there was lots of transmitters, radios starting to come onto the market, but mostly in kit form at that time. And by 1925 there were radios you could buy, assemble, and radios were flying off the shelves. This period around 1924, 25, 26, or maybe all the way through the 20s, the most rapid adoption of a radically new technology that's ever happened, even faster and of a higher impact than the internet. This was technical revolution happening back then, for sure. For sure. Yeah. Westinghouse, full wave. Okay. Now, what about the shape of this one? So most of the 80s I've seen, all the 80s I've seen, have been shaped like this. So now let's take a look at eBay here and we'll see what's for sale and what they're worth. Okay, 20 bucks for a typical, what I would call a typical 80. 30, 20, now here's one. This is the same shape, 20 bucks, so I'm wrong. These aren't enormously valuable tubes. But you do see the vast majority of them have this shape to them. They're all running around 15 to 20 bucks. Oh my gosh, look at that. Tested and repackaged. Here's one. Here's another one. The small glass envelope. 12. Okay, no. I thought maybe the gold was going to be in the form of this tube, but I'm afraid not. Okay. Let's go back to working on the radio now. I think what I'm probably going to do, I'll put this back in because there's nothing special about it. Any more than all these tubes are special. So, looking for the wide pins here. There we go. Whack. Okay, well certainly we're gonna give this guy a try because the owner has told me that it's more or less working. And let's look at the front panel controls. There, we'll see what we got. So, the labels are still here. Volume control, off, speech, music. I wonder if this is a switch. No, no. Oh. Well, that's unusual. It's a switch that clicks at both ends. Ooh, that click. Well, it's just the tone control, so I won't worry too much about the switch. Although down here it says off. Okay, so the on-off switch is a little sticky. Maybe a little bit of lubrication or some kind of solvent into the switch would loosen it up enough. We'll find out if it's working. It's off. It's in the off position now. Volume I'll turn down. You have a range switch. I think this is a two-bander. It's a nice RCA. I'm going to show you that. Yeah, 2 bands. Switch feels good. Take a closer look at the cool writing that's on the front of this radio here. RCA Victor, and there's the Victor dog. That's kind of neat. It's in great shape. Up above, range and selector, and then down here volume control. So what we can do with these knobs is you can judge how much use this radio got by looking at these knobs. This is probably the best place. So you can think about which knob would be turned a lot. The volume control would be turned a lot. The on-off knob, the on-off part would be turned a fair bit. And when they're turning them, of course, you drag in your fingers over the cabinet. And that's where the wear can show up. There's very, very little wear on this radio. And really see. So I think it's a really low mileage radio. That'd be my guess in terms of operation. Very similar to a radio I own. This whole front bezel on that is very similar layout to. Actually, yeah, I own a radio that looks similar to this, and I repaired someone's radio who was identical to that one that looks similar to this, and it's the same Mr. B. Mr. B, you're buying the same look here over and over. So look at this too. This is got a fine tuning and rough tuning. Now this knob is going the wrong way here. At least to me, this would be the wrong way. So that's a hint that somebody's replaced the string in here. Plus, you can't feel it, but I can feel this. This knob is not the knob. The turning action is bumpy wumpy for some reason. Maybe just a little bit of lubrication. What's going on? Looks like the plastic is. The plastic appears. I don't know what to say. It looks like there's little rivets inside there holding the plastic in place. But it's definitely got a bit of a bend to it. But it looks good otherwise. It's nice and clear. A little bit of yellow, a little bit of yellowing, but nice and clear. So look at the grill cloth here. The grill cloth is, I'm pretty sure that's original, and it's in really good shape. See, just a touch of wear right in here, but and the general look of it, it's pretty good. It's nice. It's appropriate in that. Looks good. That's great. Okay. I think we're on the verge of plugging them in. Now, one thing I cannot tell at all is if anybody's done any electronic work underneath. Well, you've got to think if somebody put this cord on, there's a good chance they've done the capacitors inside here. Good chance of that. Just giving it one last look. Trying to look for the string. I can't see the... Oh, string. Wait a minute, there's no string on this. Or is there? Some of these where the knob you're turning kind of lines up with the pointer in a way. There might be some gears in there. Might be a slip clutch in there. String? I don't know. Well, we'll find out, won't we? Okay. So they said it's been 8 days since I've been in my shop. I've been in Ottawa for 8 days. This is off. That's about the longest break I've had with my shop in years. Okay, this is going to make a difference in terms of, oh, it's got a label there, phono and radio. So we'll flip it to the radio part. You know, this is not switching out the radio in favor of the phono. This is laying the phono signal right on top of the radio signal. Hello? Hello, Peanuts. How you doing? Yeah, I'm back to my routine here. That's right. So, I mean, our routine was all off, and so was his. Oh, there he goes. No doubt he wants me to go with him, but I won't. Because I'm too excited about turning this guy on here. So we're just dealing with this as an antenna. No real antenna right now. Okay, if you're new to my videos, the way I prevent things from catching fire here is I restrict the amount of power that can reach them when I'm concerned about that kind of stuff by using these light bulbs. So these, when I switch the power on, in case you're not familiar with my videos, this will become powered through an isolation transformer. So this is not plugged directly into the wall. There's a isolating transformer in there. This guy will read the voltage and power drain, whatever we want. This is kind of a neat thing to have. This gray cord goes to this meter here, which you can't quite see. Now this meter will show the voltage continuously at the outlet, well, and so will this. This will also show a little bit of overkill there, but that's what's going on. You have a switch panel. You can see these two switches. This is the main power. So this kind of arms this panel here, and this guy will switch between having the lights on and having full power available to it. So first we're going to switch it with these lights. They're in series with the radio and the outlet. That's basically what's happening. Dim bulb, look it up. All kinds of people do this. I highly recommend it. Personally, this is a great way a great simple way to control and prevent bad things from happening, like burning out a transformer or something horrendous like that. Otherwise, you're relying on your house circuit breaker or fuse. That's not so good. Are we ready? Have I built up enough tension yet? Volume down, switch is off, so we should see no lights. The lights came on. How do you like that? So that means this switch, the switch on the radio, doesn't work. So not a lot of brightness in these lights at all. It's very dull. It's not drawing very much power at all. So the supply voltage, because it's not drawing a lot of power, the supply voltage that's reaching the outlet is pretty high. It's 100 volts. That's more than enough to make a radio like this work under normal circumstances. So I hear a little hum. Yeah, it's definitely a hum there. Now the microphone you're listening to is just right up here, right above the speaker. So, and hopefully there's no electromagnetic interaction between what I'm working on and my microphones. And sometimes there is. Sometimes you can hear on my videos clicks and pops and other funny sounds that I cannot hear here in the shop. So I do not actually listen to the sound coming through the microphones. It's too unnatural for me. Okay, so we've had it on for a while. Nothing horrendous has happened. There's really no need to take these lights out of the circuit because 100 volts is probably enough for us to fiddle with here. Up with the volume. Scratchy sounds, perfect. That's great. Range switch. There's a light there. Can you see that in the camera? Yeah. So I have the feeling the upper light is either burned out or there's a mechanical piece moving or something's going on. It's not quite working because I think there's an upper light. That's kind of cool, especially for someone like me. I get confused all the time about which band I'm listening to. So this is a good radio for me. Let's wiggle this control a little bit. Oh. Now it's off. I heard the click. So I think we can get this switch going again properly. It's back on. Not quite sure what that is up there. Speech. It says speech. So clicking at the speech should narrow the bandwidth a little bit. That would trim out some hisses. But you don't need to listen to it when you're listening to somebody's voice. So we're on the shortwave band. No antenna. Sounds like dirt. I think it's dirt. Could be the capacitor plates are rubbing. May just be dirt. It's a spot right there. Okay, let's flip over to the other band. Okay, no antenna, except that little chunk of wire. So that sound to me suggests the slider just sliding over the resistive surface is meeting a spot that's so dirty it's losing contact. This lifts up the slider and now it's open circuited, and the impedance of the slider circuit and all the way up basically to the grid of the next audio tube, the audio tube, is all raised up in impedance. It's basically an open piece of wire. It's an antenna. probably why it sounds like that. An antenna inside a radio picking up this kind of hum, audio hum. Right? It's not an antenna for a radio. It's an antenna for audio signals. So a little cleaning, that should go away. Maybe pick up any button. Oh, now there's powerful noise interference in there. If we're going to get a station, it's going to be over in this area here. That's an interference signal. That ticking is interference. Those sudden crashes and that, I'm not absolutely sure, but I think it's just dirt and stuff in the capacitor. So a radio is receiving what I would expect it to receive. It's just sitting here. Well, why don't we do something more with it then? What do you say there, Peanut? Just giving you a look. "8 days without us." Is that right? And now what? What do you want, buddy? Peanut? You want to go out? No way. Yeah, no way. Oh, no, he wants me to go somewhere. That's what he wants. Almost certainly to give him some tap water. He loves to drink water running out of a tap, so that's probably what he wants. But I'm going to ignore him. Shame on me. So we'll hook this up to first a fairly inappropriate outdoor antenna. And then I may bring the loop in here. It depends if we really need to. So what do we got going here? Here's the antenna up here. Now I'll take that back about this not switching off the radio. I think this does switch off the radio. Yeah, this is probably the signal reaching the volume control from the radio, being switched up here and then fed inward towards the audio amp or not. Now, this is clearly the ground here. This would be the antenna. See if we get anything. You'd swear that shortwave, wouldn't you? So it's at the 590 position. It could be 590. There's no panel light here, right? Oh, there is. The sound is very muffled. Not a lot of brilliance in it. 590. Oh, Peanut, really? Come on, this is the best part of this whole thing, Peanut, come on. Oh my gosh. What? Come on. Here. Well, no, don't go anywhere. Stay here. Up you come. Okay, so So I think what we can conclude here, I'll just hang on to my cat, is that this radio is in pretty good shape. Obviously needs a little bit of fix-ups here and there, a little better fidelity out of it. Maybe its capacitors have been changed, maybe that's why it's working so well. A few other minor things that need to be done on it. And then a fresh up of the cabinet. And okay, buddy. And I think this is a great radio. Okay, you want to go down. You want to go down because you want me to go somewhere with you, and that's what I'm going to do. So thanks a lot for watching today, and certainly carry on. Get this guy out of his cabinet. I got to get the schematic out and check it over and all that kind of stuff. So well, we're off to a good start. Thanks a lot for watching.